These aren't legends. They're real stories, and they still haunt the people involved. I wasn't with him that night, and that matters. Everything I know comes from what he told me afterward. He wasn't panicked when he talked about it, just quiet, distracted, like he was still trying to understand what he had seen. We lived about 20 minutes apart. Quiet area. Suburbs. Nothing ever happens there. He left my place a little after 1 a.m. Weeknight. Empty roads. He was about 10 minutes into the drive when he noticed something ahead in his headlights. At first, he thought it was an animal. Then he realized it was moving too fast, and not in a straight line. Something was running in the middle of the road, zigzagging, back and forth, like it didn't care about being hit. As he slowed down, the shape became clearer. It was a woman, young, alone, waving her arms, trying to stop a car that wasn't supposed to be there. His first instinct wasn't to help. It was to keep going. Because no one behaves like that on an empty road at night, unless something is wrong. Or unless they want you to think something is wrong. So he drove past her. And then he saw her face. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't angry. She looked terrified. He went a few seconds farther before hitting the brakes. Then he turned around. He stopped several meters away and cracked the window. He didn't get a chance to speak. She ran straight toward the car. He panicked and rolled the window up. She grabbed the rear door handle and tried to open it. Pulled again, then again. The doors were locked. She wasn't yelling at him. She was yelling at the situation, telling him to call the police, begging him not to leave. He called 911. When he told her help was on the way, she stopped. She stepped back, breathing hard. She said she was going to walk toward the nearest place with lights, a closed convenience store, and a fast food restaurant nearby. He followed her slowly in his car, staying on the line with the dispatcher. Both places were shut down. No people, no cars, just bright lights and empty pavement. That's when he noticed her hands. They weren't dirty. They were covered in blood. Not splattered, soaked. He asked if she was injured. She said no. He asked if it was her blood. She looked down at her hands for a long moment, then said no. They stood there in silence. Then she started crying. Not screaming, not shaking, just crying, like someone who had reached the end of something. She said she was ashamed, that what she had done would never be forgiven. She didn't explain. A police car arrived minutes later. 2 officers stepped out. One spoke briefly to my boyfriend, took his information, and told him he could leave. The other went straight to the woman. He drove home. The police never contacted him again. There was no follow-up, no news, no reports, nothing. That's the part that still bothers me. Not the blood, not the woman, but how completely the night erased itself afterward. Sometimes I wonder if she was a victim. Other times, I wonder if she was running from something she had already done. And I wonder if my boyfriend stopped at the exact moment where the story could still go either way. Because he was the last stranger who saw her before the police arrived. And he'll never know who he really helped that night. This happened a few years ago, when I was living alone in a small house near a forest reserve. No close neighbors, no streetlights, just trees, wind, and silence. And one stormy night, I learned something terrifying. Sometimes, the thing you let inside to protect you is exactly what you should be running from. That evening, a violent storm rolled through the mountains. Rain slammed against the windows. Wind screamed through the trees like something alive. I was alone, watching TV, trying to ignore the weather, when my phone suddenly screamed with an emergency alert. An escaped psychiatric patient. Extremely dangerous. Last seen near the forest reserve. That forest was directly behind my house. I locked every door, every window, turned off the lights. That's when I heard it. Footsteps, heavy boots, on my back porch. Someone tried the doorknob. I froze. Then loud pounding. "Police, open the door!" I looked through the curtain and saw a man in a raincoat, police cap, flashlight, gun. He shouted that the suspect was in my yard, that his partner was chasing him, that I needed to open the door now. I didn't hesitate. I let him in. He locked the door behind him and took control instantly. Told me where to sit, told me to stay quiet, told me he'd protect me. He said his name was Officer Miller. For a while, I felt safe. He talked calmly, mentioned his daughter, complained about night shifts. Outside, the storm raged on, and inside, something felt off. First, his radio. He kept listening to it, but it never made a sound. Then his gun. Old. Rusted. Not like a service weapon. I told myself I was imagining things, until I noticed his badge. It wasn't metal. It was cardboard, covered in foil, with numbers drawn in blue crayon. That's when my stomach dropped. I looked closer. The radio was fake. The uniform, stitched together. The calm voice, gone. He was watching me now. And when he spoke again, his voice wasn't authoritative. It was soft, almost childish. That's when I knew. The escaped patient was already inside my house. He started talking about protecting people, about stopping a family on the highway, about making the screaming stop. He picked up a kitchen knife, smiled, and said we could play house. I didn't run. I didn't scream. I smiled back. I nodded, agreed with everything he said, and waited. Minutes felt like hours. Then sirens. Real ones. He panicked, ran toward the back of the house, toward the basement door. The police found him later that night, hiding in the woods. They told me something I'll never forget. If I had argued, if I had screamed, if I had tried to run, I wouldn't be here telling this story. So if you ever feel that something isn't right, even when it looks safe, trust that feeling. It might save your life. I used to close my shop alone every night at exactly 8. One evening, I realized someone else had memorized that schedule too. I owned a small gift shop in a quiet town most people only drove through. Candles, cards, handmade things people bought last minute. It wasn't the kind of place anyone would watch, and I wasn't the kind of person anyone would follow. I worked alone. Always had. At 8 o'clock sharp, I locked the door, turned off the lights, and walked to my car parked down the street. Nothing ever happened, until it did. The first time I felt it, I was pulling the door shut. That strange pressure in your chest when you know someone's nearby, even if you can't see them yet. I turned around. The street looked normal. Empty, quiet, safe. But as I walked away, I heard footsteps behind me. Slow, unhurried. When I stopped, they stopped. I stood there for a few seconds, pretending to check my phone, then turned around. No one was there. After that night, I paid closer attention, and I started noticing things. A figure across the street that disappeared when a car passed. My reflection in the shop window, with someone standing behind me. Footsteps that never got closer or farther, only matched my pace. I told myself it was paranoia. So I changed my routine. Closed at 7:30, then 8:15. Parked closer. The feeling didn't go away. It adjusted. One night, I saw him clearly. He was standing under a broken streetlight across from my shop. Not pacing, not pretending to smoke or text, just watching me. When I froze, he didn't move. When our eyes met, he smiled. Not friendly, not threatening, like he'd been waiting. The next morning, I found a folded note wedged into my doorframe. No name, no explanation, just one sentence. You lock up at 8:03. My stomach dropped. That wasn't a guess. That was the exact time it took me to close, lock up, and step outside. Someone had been there long enough to learn it. That night, I closed early and left the lights on inside. As I locked the door, I saw him again, closer this time, standing beside my car. I couldn't move. He tilted his head and spoke, like we were having a casual conversation. You forgot the backlight. That was it. I ran, didn't unlock my car, didn't look back. I ran straight to the diner at the end of the street and begged them to call the police. The police never found him. No cameras caught his face. No one else reported anything unusual. I sold the shop a month later, moved away. But even now, years later, I still don't close places at the same time every night, because someone once learned my routine without me ever noticing. And I don't know how long he'd been watching before I finally felt it. If you want to hear more true stories like this, you know what to do. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.